Ponytown shortcuts are super helpful if you do play on PC. There are technically a couple of shortcuts on mobile where you can like double tap with like 2 fingers on screen or something like that to boop, but most of the shortcuts in Ponytown rely on a keyboard input. And in today's video, I want to go over all of the different shortcuts here in Ponytown. Starting, of course, with some simple ones like O and P are used to zoom in or zoom out on your keyboard, and some other things like B is how you boop. Most of these are pretty much well known, and a lot of these are also going to be well known because they're just on the help page, but I have gotten some requests to make this video, so let's go over some of these. Starting, of course, with the Numpad over here on the right side. And why did I just get a party notification? Somebody's trying to send me a YouTube link or something, but there's no, the only person in my party right now is offline. They're not even here right now, so what the fuck? I'm just gonna hit OK on that, and we're gonna continue. Anyway, Numpad. Over here on the right side of your keyboard is the Numpad. It's right next to your numlock and things like that. You can do a couple of different things. 1 through 9 will just switch your eye direction to that point. So if I press 1 on my numpad, I will look to the bottom right. If I press 9 on my keyboard, it will look to the top right, and so on for all of the different numpad numbers. It pretty much just lets you kind of look in different directions. I love doing it to kind of give like the side eye, like, oh shit, whoa. If you press the slash on your numpad, it will make you cry. The star thing, or the asterisk, whatever you want to call it, will do this. It will give you tears. It's a little bit hard to see. Let me zoom in on my character here a little bit. It's a little bit hard to see, but it does toggle tears with the asterisk. The minus button will do this, which basically just, how to describe it? The help page says that it's shocked eyes. I don't really know if it is like shocked eyes to me, but it says it's shocked eyes, so I guess that's what it's meant to be. The plus on your keyboard will make you blink, so every time you press the plus button on your numpad will just make you blink for some reason. I'm really not sure why that's a shortcut, but it just is for some reason. Now the enter button on your keyboard, on your numpad specifically, will make you blush. And the delete key on your numpad will make you get heart emojis above your head. Now that we're done with the numpad, let's take a look at the other side of the keyboard and over here where the question mark slash symbol is on your keyboard. It's right next to the shift key. If you press that key, it will automatically open chat in the bottom left there. You can see it immediately opened it up, and it immediately entered a /, and this is just a quick way to start doing commands. So if I wanted to do /roll, I don't have to hit enter and then slash and then roll to roll dice. Oh wow, look at that, I rolled 100 of 100. How about that? Instead, I could just type / and then roll and then hit enter and it will do it again. Wow, 90 out of 100 that time. Aren't I just lucky today? Where's Damien when, where are these numbers when I'm rolling against Damien? But that is just a quick, simple, easy way to immediately start using commands in Ponytown. There's some other obvious ones, like H is used to turn your head. This, again, is on the help page. Most of these are, and so most people know that that's what that does. Other things, and this one I didn't actually know, but for this I'm actually going to have to go to my settings to actually show this off the best way, because you have camera follow sensitivity. If I make the follow sensitivity like this, and then I just get off the couch and come over here to this thing right here, you can see that I'm now on the right side of my screen. If I press L on my keyboard, it immediately centers the screen. This is actually a shortcut that I didn't actually really realize was a thing until I went to do this video, so that one's kind of fun. J allows you to open up the character editor in-game, so you don't have to do that. Again, all these... Oh wait, you can't press J again to toggle that. I feel like that's a bug, but either way, you can then hit escape if you want to, or the close button or something like that. If I were to delete these right here, I can press Z on my keyboard to make those undo, and I can press Y on my keyboard to redo that undo. It's very simple stuff there. If you've ever done anything in an art program or most editing softwares or pretty much anything where you're editing stuff, Z and Y usually undo and redo, and it's the same way here in Ponytown. There are a few more that are kind of nice. For example, I can press X on my keyboard to sit down. If I press X a second time, it will make me lay down. If I'm laying down and I press C on my keyboard, it will make me sit up. If I'm sitting and I press C, it will make me stand up. So X and C kind of undo, redo each other, which is kind of a nice little thing. So you can sit or lay or all that stuff using X and C on your keyboard. If I were to, let's say, pick up this rose right here and equip it in my mouth, I can press E on my keyboard to eat that rose. Additionally, I can just equip the rose by going up next to it and pressing E on my keyboard. So E is actually very versatile because now I can pick up things, I can eat things, and if I pick up something like the dandelion right here, I can use things as well with E. So if I press E while having something that has an action such as this, I can do it and it will do that. Basically, E also works as an action, so if I press E while holding one of these party poppers, it will actually shoot out confetti from your little confetti canyon thing there. Which, a side note, isn't it weird that we can't actually place these party poppers on our island? We have to place the party box. Isn't that kind of weird? Because now I want to share with you guys exactly how you can instantly equip any tool in Ponytown. Starting, of course, with the hammer. If I press F on my keyboard, it will equip the hammer. If I press F twice, it will give me a paintbrush. If I press F 3 times, it will give me the rake. So F will cycle through those 3 tools. If I press F while holding the rake, it will drop the rake. And so I can cycle between those 4 different states by just pressing F enough times on my keyboard. G will instantly equip the broom and unequip it as well. Q will instantly equip a shovel, and again, Q will make you drop the shovel. V will instantly give you a crowbar, and if you press V again, it will give you a wand. If you press it one more time, it will make you drop that wand. The T will equip a saw. If I press T a second time, it will give me a sledgehammer, which is used to destroy walls. And if I press T a third time, it drops the sledgehammer and gets rid of it. Finally is the wrench. I can press R on my keyboard and it equips a wrench. If I press R a second time, it just gets rid of it. For this next one, I have to come to a public map because if I press N on my keyboard, it will open up the mini map in the corner. This can be expanded. You can change the size of it. You can zoom in, you can zoom out and stuff like that, and everything. And it's really nice. It's a nice little thing that's there. But if I press N again, it will make that go away. And even though it's there, even if it's there, I can still press M and it will make a big mini map that appears in the center that allows me to get a better look at things. You can't expand the size of this map or anything like that, but like, oh, look, here's one of my friends. It's Unikitty. I don't know who the hell that is. How are they moving so fast? How do they move? What are they doing? How do they move? How you moving so fast? Either way, that is the different actions with the map. If I press M again, it will make that map go away. And if I press N, it will make the other map in the corner go away. This is only available on public islands or public maps, such as the main map, the library, the bakery, etc., etc. Next, I want to show off all of the F1, F2, F3, etc., etc., etc. I want to show all of the function keys and what they do. F2 will hide all chat bubbles. Chat bubbles will no longer appear above players' heads, so you won't be able to see what they say. Of course, you can still read their chats in the bottom left, but that will disable them. If I press F2 again, it will enable them all again. If I press F3, it hides only public chat bubbles, which means whispers will still appear, and things like that will still appear for me, but public chats will not be visible to you. If I press F4, it will show me through obstacles. It will enable seeing through obstacles. As you can see, the sail down here is no longer visible because I've enabled seeing through obstacles. If I press F4 again, I can no longer see behind that object. F6 will toggle the UI, so the UI is now disabled. Note that a couple of UIs will never go away no matter what you do. One is the settings in the top right and the chat in the bottom left. This next one might need a little bit more explaining. So when you place a wall such as this wood wall right here and click this icon here, there is a couple of different ones. There are the auto walls like so, the short walls that are always short no matter what, and then tall walls that are tall no matter what. But if I want my auto wall to sometimes be tall, only to me, I can toggle that by pressing F8. As you can see, all auto walls now are tall. If I press F8 again, all auto walls are now short. However, the tall walls and the short walls will never change because they have been placed as a short or tall wall. The next one is a little bit interesting because there is a setting. If we go to the settings up here, there is a setting in your settings that says disable double click to look. This can be toggled for some reason with F9. I genuinely don't know why there is a button specifically for this, but if I press F9, I enable double click to look, and now I can double click this way, and now I'm looking that way, I double click this way, and I'm looking that way, etc., etc. If I want to make it to where that's no longer possible, I can press F9 again, and it just disables double click to look. So now if I double click up here, no matter how much I click up here, it will not reset my eyes into that direction. you can see that there is a disable map tools shortcut. For again, this setting also for some reason has a shortcut, which is really weird, but if I press F10, I can now disable map tool key bindings. So now if I press F, it won't give me a hammer. If I press G, it won't give me a broom. If I press V, it doesn't give me a crowbar, etc., etc. I don't know why this exists, and I do feel like maybe it should give you some kind of warning or something like that if you're on an editable map and you have this disabled or something like that, and you press it enough times. Maybe if I press F or G or something like that enough times, it just tells me, hey, you have these disabled. I don't know, but that is currently not in the game. If this is disabled, the only way to know for sure is to either press F10 on your keyboard or go to your settings to find out, because for some reason you can just disable this, and it's actually kind of easy to do by mistake. The last one is F11, which switches to full screen. I don't know why this is a thing as well, but it just is, and we just have to live with it. Finally, we have the most complicated of the shortcuts. As you can see, I'm walking at a regular pace, but if I hold shift, I now move at a slower pace. But shift is actually one of the most powerful shortcuts in this game. Let me explain. First of all, if I get a hammer to equip something and I place, let's say, these party boxes right here, if I hold shift and then click on this again, I can now clone that object without having to get a wand. This is super helpful for a number of things. It makes it to where you don't have to switch tools as much, but shift does a myriad of different things. If I have something like, let's say, this fruit bowl right here, and I click on it, I get a banana. Let me eat that banana because it is awesome and delicious. But if I hold shift and then click on this, I don't get a banana, I get a pomegranate. And the reason why is because if you hold shift while clicking on something that has multiple items you can get something from, such as a fruit box, a fruit bowl, there's party box technically works as well, a bunch of different items like that. If I hold shift and click on it, I can cycle through them in reverse. So now I go to the pear, and now I go to whatever this thing is. I think it's a fig, and then an orange, and then the banana. But if I wanted to go through it regularly, I don't have to hold shift. I can get the banana, the orange, the fig, the pear, etc., etc. It just allows you to go in reverse, which is super helpful, but kind of niche in its own way. If a player, such as this Riley queer dog a whole lot there, is standing in front of something like this sign, you can hold shift and then click on the player, and it will actually click on the thing behind the player, allowing me to click on this sign even though they are covering it up. Another useful thing too is if you're holding a shovel and you want to, let's say, equip this grass, even though I have wood equipped, I can hold shift and then click on the grass, and now I have grass equipped. This is kind of like a pick blocking mechanic that Ponytown has in the game. Some items in this game don't have rotation, but they do at the same time. For example, the standing roasting stick. Every time you place it, you can sometimes get a random variant that is just a flipped version of it. But if you don't want to place the items in order to get that random version of it, you can hit shift on your keyboard enough times and eventually it will flip it for you. If I press it again, it will flip it. If I press it again and again and again and again, it flips it almost every time. It's not that consistent, but it is consistent enough to be useful. You can do the same thing by pressing escape enough times on your keyboard or control, all those kinds of things like that. Now that, of course, only works on some items, and it's not necessarily shift that's doing it. It's just cycling through the object again. You can click on the object and then click on it enough times in the build menu, and it does the same thing. I personally just find shift to be the easiest way to do it. Now, if I am holding the hammer and I hold shift and then scroll on my mouse wheel, I can actually switch between different tools in the game. This is another weird feature that just exists. I honestly have never found it that helpful. If you've ever found it helpful, please do let me know in the comments below. But I believe that does it for all of the shift controls. Now, there are a couple of other things I want to note about shift. I mentioned earlier that you can clone objects while holding shift and a hammer, but the same thing actually does work if you're holding a broom. The next powerful shortcut is control on your keyboard. Now, this doesn't generally do things, but if I'm holding, for example, a hammer and I want to move our party box, I can hold control on my keyboard and then click on it and then move it. This physically moves it and doesn't clone it or anything, so this is actually really helpful as well. Additionally, the same thing works if you have a broom out. If you have a broom and hold control and then want to move that object, the same thing applies. Lastly is spacebar. Now spacebar doesn't generally do a whole lot for you, but if you're editing on your island and you have your hammer out, and let's say I want to place this book, but I don't want this colored book, I can press space on my keyboard and it will instantly just change the color of that book. I don't have to open the build menu, click on the paint brush here, and then find the one I want. If I know it's just a couple of clicks away, I could just hit space a couple of times and then get the exact book that I want. Even if I'm just simply moving the object and hit space, I can still do it, which is crazy. So I can turn it from that flower book into the bunny book and just move it over at the exact same time. This works, of course, with the crowbar as well. So if I want to change it with the crowbar, I can do so. And if I have the wand, the same thing happens. So this is kind of a fun thing too, because if I have the hammer and I want to, let's say, clone this object, I can change it and clone it at the same time, all using just the hammer, which is super helpful for a myriad of different things. Now that does it for everything in this video. Did you find it helpful? Let me know in the comments below. If I missed anything, or if you found it helpful, let me know all of your opinions and stuff like that down there, because I love to hear your guys' feedback and stuff like that. But for now, that's all I have for you, so I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.